Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Today's shir is sponsored by the very famous Yossi Klein, big tzaddik from Muncie, as a zchut for all the people helping with the upcoming Mesechet Sukka free gemara campaign, especially the Nasanel Gants. They should all always be on the giving end, Bracha and hatztlocha to all. So, this campaign is amazing. It's amazing what he does. I forgot to mention, he does Ami magazine ads, Mishpacha, he's all day long. I don't know when this guy has time to work. It's amazing. And then we have this email from Dov Harris. He jumped in. He wants to be part of it again in England. He's taking care of England. Glad to hear that you plan to encourage new participants to MDY, Daf Sukka, like it was done for Yoma. Eli Posen and I would be happy to take care of the UK side of this, as you did for Yoma. So feel free to be in touch with us to take this forward if we can help. He's the guy, remember, he went from door to door. He hand-delivered each and every Gemara. Went from store to store, chopping up all the Gemaras. Keep inspiring the cloud. Looking forward to coming for a UK Siyum from Mesechet over the next few months. Oh, looking forward to you coming to the UK. Here's another guy. Great. Let us know when suits you best. Warmly, Dov Harris and Eli Posen. I was thinking just mamish a few minutes ago, this theme, I don't know where it's going. Stam a thought. We had the terrible tragedy in Miron. And then we had Karlin Stalin. So I was saying that it has something to do, like people are falling. Then you had the guy, the cable car. And then just 2 days ago, in Shari Tzedek, the parking lot fell. So, the government fell. And then I thought to myself, look at this. What's Reb Shimon Bar Yochai? Reb Shimon Bar Yochai represents Torah. Karlin Stalin, they represent Avodah. They're the screamers during Tefillah. Shari Tzedek is Gemilas Chasadim. Torah, Avodah, Gemilas Chasadim. In that order. I don't know. I have no idea what it means, but it's some sort of sign from Hashem. And this week is Parshas Korach, by the way. It's like Poscha Arts Pia, poof, disappeared. So a few people acquired. They want to know, how did I make this box? What's shot in the box? So, okay, since they ask. Mizbeach. It's basically foam board. I bought it at the local supply store. It took me about 2 hours to make. 2 cans of paint. I ran out of the spray paint in the middle. And I used my big construction skills to make it perfectly square, of course. But I'm a professional box maker, and I'll tell you why. When I learned in the mirror, I was dating my wife at the time, and I went back to the mirror to learn. We came to we had a shaila in the whole thing. So I went back to learn. And then we figured things out, I think. And her father came to meet me in Eretz Yisrael. So he took me out and everything, and I told him that I would like to send back a gift. But I showed him, it's a serious gift from Eretz Yisrael. It was a box. So, Kitzer, he told her, and then but she was in New York until the box came to New York. Kitzer, so she gets this box, and she opened up the box, and popped out Eli Stefansky, and that's how we got engaged. So I'm a box maker back from the day. All right. So another thing is that there are a bunch of people in the room, even though people in the room, they still thought that the blood was real, even though I said specifically, I got it on Google, it was sweet, and then somebody had an aura that it's possible, even if you bring the fish itself, it's possible that it's still asur, it's still marasayin, unless it has scales inside the blood. That I wasn't willing to do. Listen to this. This is a good one. From Morty Ness, he says, the rebellion, at this point, they might as well shut down the other Daf Yomi shurim. MDY is head and shoulders above the rest. Ishkoyach. But they should not shut down. We only go for the people that are not learning the Daf. Those who are not learning or not learning the Daf should come here. I just wanted to share one thought regarding the blood on the inside of the golden Mizbeach. I recently heard, as this was the final usage of the blood and the goat blood inside the Heichal. Listen to this. What he's trying to say here is that the bull is for the Kohen Gadol, and the chatos is for Klal Yisrael. So he says the Torah tells us to mix and unite the two. This represented the combining of unity of Kohanim and Bnei Yisrael. It symbolized the unity of Klal Yisrael in the final stage of Kapara inside the Heichal. Displays the concept of Achenu Kol Beis Yisrael through all times, all the best. Mordechai Netz. Thought it was beautiful. And from Avram Rosenzweig, he says, Eli Zinger's during Daf Nun Ches Yoma. I don't need blood on my Gemara. Pancakes are more important than family. Do you want to smell this? Asking a person in shul if you want to smell the $100 blood. If you have I would have loved to drink this blood in front of everyone, but it's usur. And then you pulled out an enormous fish. You tasted it. Man, you're entertaining and a bit meshuga. So yesh cholkim on the bit. I think you should start a Rebbe Shir, train the trainers. If Rabbeim Yeshivas adopted the Eli Derech and teaching, the number of Talmidei Chacham would skyrocket. Reach out to Yeshivas and encourage the Rabbeim to watch the Shiurim. They'll have zillions of kids from day to day, save zillions of kids from day to day boredom. Eli Iraq, Shkoyach, yeah, Eli, whatever. I look forward to our next 5.5 years together learning Daf Yomi, L'Shalom Avram. Can you give real estate classes after Daf Yomi? All right, here we go. Daf Nun Tes. So yesterday we had a machlokes Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yossi Aglili. The idea of Kol Pniya Shetapoyin El Yamin. So how come Rabbi Akiva goes to the left, clockwise, which is in Gemara language to the left, because you're hugging the Mizbeach, you're going clockwise. So the Gemara had one idea that maybe it's machlokes in Yam Shel Shloima, the famous Sefer. There are 12 bulls, 3 facing 3 and 3 facing 3, 12, and then the pool, a mikvah on top of them. And the way the Torah describes it is that it goes from north to west, not north to east. So north to west is to the left. Facing out, obviously, in this time. But because you see the idea of, the bulls were facing outwards, their backs were to each other, and the Torah calls it counterclockwise, which is to the right. And maybe that's machlokes, or maybe no. Maybe the machlokes is, do we learn the idea of the blood in the heichal? This mizbeach is in the heichal. Do we learn that from the mizbeach that's outside? Mizbeach, that's the mizbeach hachitzon in the Azara. We know that we already discussed it. He goes up the ramp, takes a right turn, so he's always going to the right. Do we learn one mizbeach from the other? That's machlokes. Now we're holding Daf Nun Tes Amud Aleph, first word. V'bayis, or perhaps the machlokes is the question is the kohen actually walking around the mizbeach? Or perhaps he's stationary in one spot, and the only thing that's doing the walking are his fingers. So for that, you don't need yamin. There's no yamin on a hand. You could go to the left, you go to the right. It's like lighting a menorah. Do you go, if you're standing, could you use this idea of kol pniya shatapoina? You're not actually moving? So that's a shayla. So Rebbe Akiva holds that he's standing in one place and he's doing the blood application with his hand. So there's no yamin on a hand. You go to the left, you go to the right. But Rebbe Aglili holds that he's actually walking. And when a kohen is walking, he has to walk, he has to take right turns. Perhaps everybody agrees there's no walking, stationary. The question is, do I learn this mizbeach, that the application of the dam is with your hand, from the other mizbeach, that the kohen is constantly walking to get to where he needs, and therefore this mizbeach hazav k'tayres should be done also everything to the right, even with his hand. And Rebbe Akiva says no, you're not learning the mizbeach k'tayres from the mizbeach hachitzon, and therefore you could take left turns. Says the Gemara, that's not very good. Why? It seems like almost mafurish in the Mishnah that Rabbi Yossi Aglili doesn't hold that you stand in one place. Why? We have a machlokes in our Mishnah. The other Mandama is Rebbe Eliezer. And Rebbe Eliezer says, no, I argue. He's standing in one place. He's stationary. Meaning that the Mandama right before holds that he's moving. But who is the Mandama right before? The Mishnah doesn't say. But we understand it's Rabbi Yossi Aglili because it's identical to Rabbi Yossi Aglili's Shita. In the Mishnah, it describes how he goes counterclockwise. He's taking right turns. That's Rabbi Yossi Aglili. So in Mela, it has to be that according to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, he's walking. So why are you telling me that everybody agrees that he's not walking, that he's standing in one place? Machlokes, is it the hand like walking and not like walking? It's not true. Who is Rabbi Yossi Aglili? He holds that he's walking, not like Rebbe Eliezer, who holds that he's stationary. So let's go back to the other teretz. Mar sovar hakofa bayad, or mar sovar hakofa beregel. Oh, enochnami. According to Rebbe Yossi Aglili, he's walking, like we just said, and because he's walking, it needs to be right turns because he's walking. But according to Rebbe Kiva, he's not walking. He's stationary. He's in one spot, and if he's stationary in one spot, then he could go to the left as well. And the Gemara yesterday explained, but so why go to the left? You go to the right also. Why pick left? So the Gemara had a good reason why go to the left. Now, according to the Gun, you take out these three words, Vibai Seima, and he says, he sticks in a vav here. Ubahaka. This is the machlokes. Mar sovar soviv the mizbeach pnimi kisoviv the mizbeach achitzon. It says the word soviv by both mizbeachs, the k'tayres and mizbeach achitzon. So just like the mizbeach achitzon is beregel, he's walking, so too mizbeach apnimi. Umar sovar kul mizbeach pnimi mokim chada keren the mizbeach achitzon kai. Look at this, Gershon. You see this guy right over here? This mizbeach right over here. This, I really need. Yaakov, can you get me the mizbeach, please? It's behind the ladder, over there. Thank you. This mizbeach, which is 1 amma, 60 centimeters, I made it. According to Chazon Ish, Ishkoyach. You're not going to believe this. Here you go. Thanks. See the little guys over here on the top? I don't know if you can see. But each one of these little kronis on the mizbeach hachitzon is this size. That's the whole size. So when the kohen is standing by one of these kronis, you could zoom in, Gary. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's not working? Okay. One of these guys is an amma by an amma, 2 feet by 2 feet, which equals the size of the mizbeach haktaris. So obviously, when he's here applying the blood, he's not walking anywhere. That's it. That's the whole carrot. So then why should he walk when he has the whole mizbeach in front of him? There's no reason for him to walk. We'll leave it over here. It's fine. Tanya Omer Bishmo. Shnei kohanim gdoilim nishtair b'migdosh rishon. There are 2 kohanim gdoilim. Now the Vilna Gaon takes out the word rishon. Takes it out, and we'll explain in a second perhaps why. He holds l'chayra that is migdasheni. So he says there's 2 kohanim gdoilim that were left over. Ze oimer biyodi kafti. One kohen gadol said after the churban, similar to what we're discussing. Look, there's kohanim, there's people that were there. He says, listen, I was the kohen gadol. I served, and if I served, I'm telling you, I did not move. I was standing there by the mizbeach, and I just applied the blood with my hand. I didn't go anywhere. And the other one says, not true. I walked around over there. Each one has a great svara. It says saviv. And saviv means, like we said before, the svar, no new svaras, but just each kohen gadol is grabbing part of the gemara. That what? The mizbeach hapnimi is going to be like the saviv mizbeach hachitzon. And everybody agrees that on this mizbeach, he comes up the ramp and makes a right turn. He's making right turns, and then he goes this way, which is a right turn because he's hugging the mizbeach, Here he is, this little kohen. I don't know if you can see. So everybody agrees that's the case. So Mamela, when it says saviv by the mizbeach of Ketores, mizbeach apnim, it's also he's walking around. V'zeh noisen talmud dvarav. Kula mizbeach pnimi, the same story that we said a second ago. Because mizbeach pnimi b'mokim chado keren dechitzin kai. The whole entire mizbeach fits into one of the four kronos of the mizbeach hachitzon, and in the mizbeach hachitzon nobody walked around the keren. There's no walking. He came over to the keren and he applied the blood. So too, if you're going to learn from the keren, you're going to learn from the chitzon. There's no walking when it comes to something that's amma. There's no walking. Okay. So first of all, the Rabbeinu Hananel here on the side asks a question: how is it possible that you have two kohanim gedolim that are alive to discuss this? Oh, so he says they had a mum. Very good. He had a mum. One had a mum, another one. No, they no age. No. No, there's no age. Yochanan Kain Gadol went all the way, 100. No age. It's not a pilot or a doctor. Yeah. Okay. What's the age? Because you have to have a good voice, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, that's the age.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Fine. But there's another very interesting question. And this is an interesting question that gives us, reminds us that the Taisus Yishanim asked the question. How could there be a machlokes between two kohanim gedolim? There's no machlokes in Klal Yisrael. The whole gemara, machlokes in gemara, only started at the end of Bayis Sheni. The first machlokes we have is if the smicha on Yantif. But there's no machlokes in Bayis Rishon. Where's the machlokes? That could be the reason why the Vilna Gaon takes out the word Rishon, and it didn't happen in Bayis Rishon. But he answers that, in fact, it wasn't the machlokes. And that kind of explains another question that everybody's asking to themselves. How are two kohanim gedolim arguing on a fact? He walked or he didn't walk? He walked and he didn't walk. And the answer is yes. One walked, one didn't walk. Because, like Rabbi Shmuel, you can do whatever you want. You can pick and choose. And that's what the Gemara was saying. I'm picking and choosing. That's one of his answers. Says the Gemara, Rebbe Eliezer Oimer b'mkoymoi haya oimed umechati. Rebbe Eliezer says he stood in one place and he applied the blood, he smeared the blood on. Masnisimani, Rebbe Yehudi. So this goes according to Rebbe Yehudi. This is Anya. Rebbe Meir Oimer, Rebbe Eliezer Oimer, Rebbe Meir says that Rebbe Eliezer said, b'mkoymoi oimed umechati. He stands in one place. On every single corner, the application went from top to bottom. Okay, should we show it? Yeah. I have to get out my blood again. How did anything change? What do you mean? The entire shas. So I'm saying, according to this pshat, he can do whatever he wants. He has a choice. The Torah gives you the choice. This is fake. My voice, it's fake. Who thought? Hey, you can see the blue food coloring still. Naftali really thought it was real. First of all, we got to put some coals on over here. I did. Oh, does it? Okay. It's very, very geschmack. If the Kohen Gadol is standing, this is gewaltige stuff. Standing over here. West. West is over here. Yeah. This is west. That's east. You see? East. So he's standing over here. First he applies it on this corner. But let's say he's standing over here and he has to reach over. You see how it's already dripping? This is actually dripping down my thing. The only way, and this is dangerous because I don't even know how he does it. It's slightly, this is basically the height. So this fire over here, he goes over like this and he applies the blood from bottom to top. It would be weird to go this way. He wants to apply it and be done with it. But the rest, he goes like this, top to bottom. Bottom to, what does it say here? Top to bottom, right, top to bottom. Top to bottom, but because it's far away from him, balachsoin, you see it's on an angle. I guess the Kohen Gadol was much taller than me. And he does mimata lemala. He grabs and he starts. Okay, that's what the Gemara says over here. Now, he stands in one place. So he's not going around, he goes like this, and then when he gets here, he goes mimala lemata. Okay. Now, what Rashi explains here is that if your palm is facing upwards, then it's possible, the way you would apply the blood is your finger, if your palm is facing up, your finger is always higher than your wrist. Think about it. If your palm, you're not going to apply it like this is very awkward. So your finger is above your wrist, and when your finger is above your wrist, the blood could drip down and hit your sleeve. What happens if it hits your sleeve? You have to change your clothes. How much does a shirt cost? 18 mana, 1800, which is 9 years worth of salary. That's a big boo-boo to make. If one drip of blood hits your sleeve, 9 years of salary. So in Mela, you don't want to have your finger above your wrist at any time. When you're like this, when your palm is downwards, then your finger is below your wrist. And then you don't have that issue. Okay. This is pretty much the height. More or less. This is, according to the Chazon Ish, this is the size. It's 60 centimeters. It's 2 amma. Height. This is the height. It was yesterday's mizbeach. This mizbeach plus 8 inches. I did it 8 inches. Now you lifted it 8 inches. So this is basically the height. Weiter. No blood on the Gemara. Yeah, you can't be a short Kohen Gadol. You have to be tall and fat. Tall and fat. No air between the fingers. Fat fingers. Ask Leiby. He worked on it. Yes. Leiby, come here. You want to show us your fingers? The other one wants to see you. Come here. Get over here, Leiby. Come here. Come here. Show me your fingers. We went through this. We went through everybody's fingers. Rabbi said, this is Leiby. This is Rabbi David's son from... No, show me your fingers. Look at this. There's not a speck of air. He could be a Kohen Gadol, and he's not that big. He could do it. Look, you want to demonstrate? Shkoyach. All right. Zog the Gemara. Keep on going. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, and this is what we're looking for. Rabbi Lezer is the one that says he stands in one place. All of them he does from down up. Look, when you're standing over here, you can't go from down up. It's crazy. It doesn't work. It's just a very unnatural position. So you go like this. But all the other ones, you're going from bottom to top, bottom to top. Yichap? What? No, it's good. When you're over here, naturally, it's good. Yeah, why should he move? He's not moving. He's beregel. You're not stepping. He's okay. Zog the Gemara. Now I could sit down for a second. But the Gemara just explains that his clothing shouldn't get dirty. He's a menal Torah ishal mizbeach. My Tahara. Oh, I did have, interesting. So first of all, skipping charts here. Worked on it, I got to show it. 1 minute. Your questions you hold to Sukkah, okay? Saviv. What's the Shaila, Yeshua? What? Yeah, it's a chatzitza, big time chatzitza. I'm not in the Beis Hamikdash now. And and guess what? I'm not wearing my big dick kahuna either. Saviv. Next. What is this tahara? Tahara, lashon of tahara. He puts it on the tar part of this mizbeach. What's tar about the mizbeach? It means halfway. You see Gershon halfway down. Where are you? Halfway, right over here, as in the picture. Halfway down the mizbeach. That's where he applies the blood in the havamina. Kedamri inchi tahar tiara. It's midday. Meisvei, Shmooze, it's not very good. Why? Because it says, when he does Hazah, any mazah lo yagabe yafer, v'lo yagabe gecholim, ela choyte gecholim elech ve'elech u'mazah. Look at this. When he does the Hazah, he doesn't do the Hazah on the gecholim. He has to move the gecholim away, and then he does Hazah. So where is he doing Hazah? On top, not on the side. Why are you telling me it's on the side over here? Elo choyte gecholim elech ve'elech u'mazah. Elo amarav shilo al gilui de mizbeach. You're right. You clear out the coals, and now you have a nice spot over there to do the Hazah. Kidduchsiv. Uche'etzem hashomayim latoyar. It's talking about the skating. They saw there was a clear sky. There were no clouds in the sky. So that means it's cleared out from coals. Tanya Chananya Omer. Betzad tzvayni unoisen. This application of Hazah on top of the Mizbeach is on the northern side of the Mizbeach. That side over there. Rabbi Yossi Omer betzad droimi unoisen. But Rabbi Yossi says it's on this side, on the south. Mar savar pischa bedarim kai. Umar savar pischa betzafen kai. So, watch this. The Kohen Gadol comes out of the Heichal. He comes out of the Heichal. He's on the west. This is west over here. Now what? I'm sorry. He comes out of the Kodesh Kodashim. You're right. Move this. Comes out of the Kodesh Kodashim. Now he's in the Heichal. Now where did he come out from? Did he come out from the north? There's an opening in the north. Or did he come out from the south? So if he came out from the south, so this is how it works. Rabbi said, we'll do it one time. Whoa, don't want that blood. He comes out, and he doesn't apply the dam over here. He skips this, and he goes over here, and he does this one. Now, right? This is like Rebbe Akiva. So he's over here, applies the dam. He turns back around and starts going this way, making left turns. Why does he go back this way? Because he skipped over this, and Mavir Nala Mitzvahs, you're not supposed to. But there's a special passage that says that you have to be past him, so he does this. But because Mavir Nala Mitzvahs, he goes back. So he starts taking turns, he applies the blood over here, and now he's over here. So if he's over here, so he's going to do the Hazah right on this. He's going to clear out the coals and do the Hazah over here. And the same thing is reverse. If you come out on the north side, so now he misses this corner. He goes over here, applies the dam to this corner, and now he turns around, same thing, but he ends up on the opposite side. He ends up over here. And once he's over here, he just puts the coals away and does Hazah. We don't need this Mizbeach. He does Hazah over here. Gewaldig. All right. Weiter. But everybody agrees that where you end up, if it's on the north side of the Mizbeach or the southern side of the Mizbeach, oh, that's not my deal. My timer. Why do you have to apply it there? The final spot, the final corner that he applied the dam to, Sham Tiaroi, that's where you clear out the coals and you go weiter. Here, let's see if we have a good picture here. Just to, why not? You have the picture, might as well. Corner, which is south, you end up on the north. So then on the north, you move away the coals. It looks something like this. Maybe it has a tool that does it. And you apply the dam right there. However, if the opposite, if he starts from the north, because the opening to the Kodesh HaKodashim is over here, because there's only one paroichas, so he starts here and he ends up on the south, and that's where he clears out the coals. We don't go by these pictures. There's a great picture. There's a picture of there's arrows on the floor, and this sefer it's a great sefer. I have no hours. It was just I did a riddle in Koil. I wanted to see if anybody would chap. There's arrows showing where he goes. I don't have the picture with me, but those arrows showed up as a reflection in the mizbeach. I thought that was interesting. Like there's arrows on the floor. It's like wording here. It says north. Those words should not be a reflection in the mizbech. You could see it. It's like the mizbech is a mirror. So you see the arrow. It's just the computer does things. Whatever happens, happens. Okay. It's not to scale. It's just to show you. It's 4 feet tall. Oh, so you're saying this is too tall? Way too tall. Okay. Is it more like this? Great. We'll leave it over there. Or next time you can use this guy. Zog the gemara. The Makra, this is a beautiful surprise, Rav Isai. Don't turn the page yet, but when you turn the page, you'll see what I'm talking about. So the leftover of the blood you pour out on the western. Oops. Thanks, Yaakov. Yeah. So here's the western. This is the western side of the mizbeach. And there's 2 holes over here, as you could see in this picture right over here. Yesterday I had a klutz kasha, not kasha, but I was pointing out that he pours the blood over here and it drips all the way down, because this is where he comes out of the Kodesh HaKodashim. As soon as he comes out, he pours. He pours and then eventually he comes here. According to Rashi, it actually falls on the floor. Okay. So this would be the western wall, the wall closer to the Kodesh HaKodashim. And this is the southern wall. So it says like this. He pours the blood in the western hole. Domakro, this is by Parkoy Mashiach, it says it, but we learn it from there as well. Domakro, ve'eis kol dam hapor yishboich. V'chinofak, vahu pogar bereisho. When he comes out, as soon as he comes out, that's the one he bumps into first. So therefore he uses the western one. However, when he's using this mizbeach, in the Azara, then he pours it in the other one. This one right over here. The southern one. Why? It's the southern one. Maybe it should be like the other one on the western drain. Amris. It's the same idea. Just as he's coming out. So that's what he bumps into first. When he comes out of the heichal, he comes out of the ulam, the heichal, he comes into the azara. What does he bump into first? What does he see first? He sees the mizbeach sideways, as so. Here's the heichal. He bumps in, and he bumps into this wall. He doesn't bump into this wall. The mizbeach is. This is the east, this is the west, and here's the Kodesh HaKodashim. He comes out from the Heichal, not the Kodesh HaKodashim, and bumps into the wall. So too, when a person comes, when he comes down the ramp, what is he going to bump into first? The ramp is on the southern wall. So not on the western wall, on the southern wall. So Mamela, he uses that part of the base, and there's a drain right over there on the southern wall. Not true. So we have one shita that says, depends. If you're coming out of the heichal, the first thing you bump into is the western wall of the Mizbeach, so there's a drain on the west, use the west. If you're coming off the ramp of the Mizbeach, so the first thing you encounter is the southern wall. So it depends what you're doing. Here comes Reb Shimon Bar Yochai and says, Zev v'zeh yisoid drawing. Reb Shmuel, sorry. Reb Shmuel Oimer, Zev v'zeh yisoid maravi. They're both on the west. Reb Shimon Ben Yochai Oimer, Zev v'zeh yisoid drawing. They're both on the south. In other words, even if you're coming out of the heichal and you hit the western wall first, no, go to the south. It makes a lot of sense because the Torah tells us by the chatos, achitzayin, where you do it. It says, as you come out is the west. So we know west. So maybe if there's a pasuk, the chatos pnim doesn't say where to do it, so maybe you should learn. We know that you should pour in the west, so pour everything in the west. Where does Reb Shimon Bar Yochai get his idea? Amr Ashi. Not only did he get his idea, as we'll see in a second, Reb Shmuel agrees to him. So, this I took from the Heritage Foundation, otherwise known as ArtScroll. The Mizbeach was completely in the north, not the rampart, but the square was completely in the north. So when he comes out of the Heichal, the first thing he's going to encounter is not the western part of the Mizbeach, but rather the southern corner over here, which has a little bit of a west corner, but okay, but it's considered south. And Mamela, he argues on the whole thing. The pasuk doesn't say pour it in the west. The pasuk says when you come out, pour it. No, so when he came out, he's following this red arrow, not in the art scroll, and he hits that corner. So Mamela, that's where he puts it on the west, not on the south. Correct, but he holds. That's what Gemara says. Kosavar, he holds Pischa v'darim kai. Where exactly in the Mizbeach? Tana Rabbi Yishmael. So it says Rabbi Yishmael here, but the very Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. In other words, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai took the what's the word I'm looking for? Not the privilege. Okay, they decided on their own, I guess, that Rabbi Yishmael agrees with them. Zevizeh yisoid droimus. They agreed to us. They were able to schlep and pull the Talmidim of Shimon Bar Yochai were able to pull the Talmidim of Rabbi Yishmael. Okay, and this is an inyan. You could learn from your inyan of Vatronus maybe, which not really. Okay, he doesn't hold of it. I agree with you, but I had a good story about Vatronus, and I want to stick it in there. It's too late now. It's too late. I agree. We'll have to use the story somewhere else. Wow. So you see, and I could argue it's not Vatronus. You say like this, I say like, you were right. You were right. At the end of the day, you were right. But you tied it's Vatronus. So you see that I'm right, that it's Vatronus over there also. Unbelievable. Time out. You said it's not Vatronus because Reb Shimon Bar Yochai convinced Rabbi Yishmael's Talmidim. So it's not Vatronus. Then I said, I'm going to go back, I'm not going to say the story. So you said that's Vatronus. So I'm telling you it's not Vatronus. You were right. And I said, okay, you're right, and that's why I'm going back there. But you still called it Vatronus. So if you're calling it Vatronus, I'm going to go back and say that Talmid Rabbi Yishmael or Mevat Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And therefore I'm going to say the story. So you're putting yourself on the level of Talmid Rabbi Yishmael? No. But I'm putting you on the level of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Zog the Gemara. It's also to use the blood that comes out of the, what do we call it? The sewer system. The what's a good word for it? Not sewer is not such a nice word. Drainage. Beautiful. The drainage. There's no Isser Me'ila turning to Daf Nun Tes Amud Beis surprise. Lila Nishmas Uri Ben Mattisyahu, and for the success in Gashmius, and especially ruchnius, because ruchnius comes before Gashmius of his grandchildren. At Kaloi Pligi Elom Rabbanon. Everybody agrees that Midiraisa there's no Isser. It's just a question of Midirabanan. What's the difference between the Rabbanon and the Diraisa? If it's a Me'ila, you use something from the Beis Hamikdash, you have to pay back what you use, plus you have to give a fifth. It's only the Rabbanon, you don't have to pay a fifth. There's no Isser. Minanimili. And Taisus points out here that if you are able to sell something to somebody from the Beis Hamikdash, then obviously there's no Kedushas Haguf. You can't just sell a Kedushas Haguf. You can't take a carbon chatas, I want to sell to a gardener. It doesn't work. You have to defile it, you have to take off the Kedusha somehow and then sell it. So obviously this blood doesn't have Kedushas Haguf, and if it doesn't have Kedushas Haguf, there's no meal on it. That's the proof. Minanimili. How do I know this idea? So check out this pasuk. But there's three limudim from this pasuk saying the same thing, but they learn it from three different words. Perhaps they had a Kabbalah that's the pasuk that we're learning from. Each one grabbed the word. The blood, talking about the blood, badam, lochem is yours. You can do whatever you want with it. You could sell it. It's for a kapara, and once there's a kapara, bye-bye, no more kedusha. Or who baviyasi that it has the same halacha as we'll see in a second. Says the Gemara. It's yours, there's no mila. The in the same pasuk says the word lechaper. It's there to bring a kapara. Who? Since the Torah says the word who, and who we say sometimes, who b'havayasi, it remains in the same status. So before the kapara is like after kapara, like you say, we know that after kapara, that's it. The kedusha flies out of it. After the kapara, that's what the Torah is trying to say. A special chiddush over here only. That so maybe who's telling me that the before and after status is the same. But just like who told you which way to go, which direction to use it? Says Gemara because it's obvious. Once the mitzvah was performed, then there's no such. We don't see anywhere else in the Torah that there's still me'ilah. There's the issur to use it. Me'ila, we have to go only the way the Gemara initially said. Have a wonderful day. Where's the pasuk in what? Yeah, but who only tells me one thing? No, it's enough chiddush to say that they're both the same. That before and after kapara is the same. That's amazing chiddush. Why do you have to go? That's a double chiddush. What you're saying, right? Yeah, but if you could pick two chidushim, you don't pick the one that's not that you don't find anywhere. You can go either way. You could say before and after is the same, but referring to after. And you can say before and after is the same, referring to before. But that's way too hard. Why jump to the?
Good morning, Eli.
Oh.
Good morning, Eli.
I'm giving you to brush. Sorry. Besides the Rabbi side.
Rabbi
I saw a beautiful video on YouTube yesterday.
Wait, what? How did you see it?
A video that you sent somebody today.
How do you see it so quickly?
He's rebelling.
I got it within seconds. It's WhatsApp. It only takes a second to send.
1 second.
I show you how words
it's edited already? No.
What?
It's edited already or not yet?
I can't. No, I don't think so. But I have nothing to do with it. You send it. Who did you send it to? Yossi Klein?
Yeah.
So Yossi Klein send it to me. How did Yossi Klein get hold of you?
Oh, he's making me sugar for the past 2 weeks.
You did a great job. Yishpaya. What, he's just going for the guys that have pious?
You want
Rabbi
the guys
Eli?
that
Anybody
pious,
that speaks Yiddish?
yeah.
Rabbi
Oh,
Eli.
maybe Shmelke should give one. Shmelke, you're on? That'd be great.
By the way,
These
Rabbi Eli.
guys that look Chassidish.
Eli.
Rabbi Eli.
We're close the door.
Eli.
You're on the other side of it. What?
Rabbi Eli.
Was?
Rabbeinu Shlita. Thursday is Rabbi Zlatowitz's your side. You had shaykhs with Rabbi Zlatowitz?
The whole Klal Yisrael has shaykhs. What do you mean?
Oh, I know. I'm
Even in
asking
our
you.
scroll, you have shaykhs to Rabbi Zlatowitz.
Right.
He's one of the biggest Marbitzi Torah of the generation.
Rather, you should know. I saw his son a few weeks ago. I saw Gedalia, and I sent her. I told him. That you mentioned him many times. You know, he gave you that the Sefer Ayin Yaakov, and his mom. He was very very appreciative. You know, I said I whatever. I didn't have time to.
What's this? Who do you think?
You know the story. You know the story. You know that the Schottensteins, how they jumped on the wagon to pay for the sponsor for the shop. The Schottensteins shop.
What's going on? The island's very quiet today.
There's a lot of tumult behind you, so we're waiting.
What's the place for Erev Shabbos, no?
I don't know. It's not
Shalom.
looking good. We don't have
Tells a lot of it said donate 1,000 gemaras, and I'll be impressed.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
No, listen,
Hello,
don't put him down.
Shmelke. It's
Yeah,
not
but-
even a donation. I don't think it's a donation.
Exactly.
I think if he gave us the gemaras for free, he would make more money.
Yeah. Well,
You know how many
Listen,
people? I know of 4 or 5 people already that bought a shas because of our free gemara that we gave him.
100%.
And I'm saying there's many
I
other.
want. I want to give out. I
out.
want to give out gemaras in Yiddish in Lashon Kodesh instead of English.
We're giving out Lashon Kodesh, whatever you want. You can get both. It's not
Really?
English.
Everybody yell Yechi.
Really? I bought a shot because of the share.
Is there going to be fireworks next month of Shabbos that we get together?
Depends what you're doing. Maybe we drop it from a plane.
Should be 4th of July.
Mark,
No
have a
fireworks.
fly by,
Really?
Mark.
They're selling fireworks fast and shop right over here.
I think you're a little ahead of time.
Yeah, it's legal in parts of New York or something like that. I think outside of New York City.
Real fireworks?
Little
Real big
ones, no,
fireworks
the,
legal?
the weak ones, little baby ones.
No. You can get
Yeah,
some Roman candles.
lower than the Mizbeach. It goes lower than the Mizbeach, the fireworks.
Yeah. Roman candle sounds very shy. I'm talking about the guys that chewed up 150. The one that burnt my face.
The M80s.
No, not the M80, but I had like these rockets that go up and they shoot a bunch of stuff. And so in Chicago, I shot one, and me and my wife and the kids we were in the garage. And my wife was like, "Oh, it's so dangerous, so dangerous." I said, "What? Dangerous? Listen." And then like it fell down and it shot out like a missile from Gaza. It was out of control, and it flew into our garage and started going crazy in the garage, hitting walls, ceiling, until it like hit my face and it singed all my hair. Took off my
Sounds like
eyebrows.
the 600 rockets that fell back on Gaza.
Yeah, they killed more people than the Israelis.
Where was the Iron Dome when you needed it?
Yeah.
So they said that they were trying
Belly,
to
there's a new plane. You want to buy it? You could fly from Israel to New York in less than 5 hours. Want to buy it?
A Concorde?
Not out yet.
No. A new supersonic. You want to buy
How
it?
much is it?
When it comes
$2.
out,
They don't
We could
have
lease-
it.
we
It's
could
not
lease
in
it.
production.
Ellie,
United
United placed an order, right? I think United placed an order, but it's not going to be ready until 2035 or
But
something.
they don't know for sure. But Mark, maybe we could buy it. We could make the
20,
morning shear and come back every
Something
day.
like that. Yeah, it's gonna be.
Make the morning shear,
No,
land an
it's not.
RBS on the roof.
Some guy drew with a pencil, and then a graphics guy, Yosef, made a fancy video of it, and everybody.
Then they took money from United. They took billions
Yeah.
from United.
Hey,
All right, I gotta go. Yeah.
Rabbi Eli.
bad news for you.
What? I didn't hear what you said.
I have a little bit of sad news for you.
Ellie, you got to start giving me good news. Only good news. You're on a roll with this bad news stuff. Yeah, what's the bad news?
I have another week and a half on Zoom with Yoma.
I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be sad. But I don't like to be sad for a week and a half. You just tell me a day before, so I'll only have one day to be sad.
Yeah. Do you know Reb Eli Stefansky?
No. I have to run to Chakras, Ellie.
Rabbi Eli,
Good luck.
you're waiting for your phone call.
Not hold me back. You guys can stay Chakras.
Go to Chakras.
Okay, I'm going. Zygazon, bye.
Have a good
Rabbi
day.
Eli, I'm still waiting for your phone call.